power of yoga. It has long since been known all over the world as being a way of conditioning and strengthening and really attuning ourselves to our inner workings of our own body. Great to have you along here. My name is Orlena Kane, and we are going to get to the power of yoga. 294-789. We have our power yoga, and we have yin yoga, and we'll talk about what exactly that does. You are doing power, and you're also doing some stretching and strengthening through both of them, but a little bit more endurance in the power. $39.99 for 2 of your DVDs. There's 6 hours of it, of working out. And we've got, of course, the lead man of the hour, Mark Laham. Great to have you here, Mark.
Great to be here.
You are the all-star on the video.
Apparently. Yeah, so yin yoga, power yoga. I mean, a lot of people have misconceptions about what yoga is these days.
Right.
You're gonna tone, you're gonna sculpt, you're gonna release a lot of tension.
Right.
The yin yoga specifically for releasing tension, there's nothing like it that I've come across myself.
Right.
I came into yoga with a lot of tension in my body. You know, I've weightlifting and sitting at a computer for long periods of time. Never stretched.
No.
Didn't believe in it. Didn't think it was important. Boy, was I wrong.
Absolutely, and I think that's why everybody comes into yoga, you know, with a different mindset. That once you start doing it, you realize you shed all those myths of what you thought yoga was, with just chanting. And no, it is a serious workout, and you know that coming from a long term of being as a weightlifter. And
you know what? About a month and a half into starting yoga, I pretty much phased the gym out, and then later on came into a lot more body weight stuff. So and I'll tell you, how I feel now and how I felt back then, it's like I traded in my mind and body for something completely different.
Well, let's get right into the power yoga. Now, you are the instructor on this as well. You are a yoga instructor.
I am a certified yoga instructor.
Certified yoga instructor. You you actually teach in Ottawa as well, kind of around.
I do workshops all over the place.
All over the place.
All over the place.
And what kind of motivated you to create the DVDs for people?
You know, because of all the benefit that I got from myself.
Right.
I mean, it transformed how my relationship to my body.
Right.
We underestimate the connection between mind and body, and it's like, they're one and the same. What's happening up here is happening in here.
Right.
And so I just wanted to share it with everybody because of all the good effects it had on me.
Well, it's a great way. We've got Beatrice and we've got Louise, of course. Beatrice, first timer.
Yeah, she's very new to yoga.
She's new to yoga. She used to take your classes. Louise is an instructor as well.
Is an instructor as well. She's also in the video.
And she's also in the video.
Yeah.
Talk about strength and core. Look at the long, lean physique. I mean, a lot of yoga instructors, or a lot of people who take yoga, have that nice, long, lean physique like dancers have almost.
Yep.
You've got the same posturing. You're still working your whole body.
And don't let that scare you, though. Those of you who don't have that kind of a body type, this practice is for everybody. You take the pose as best you can. You go into it as far. The biggest excuse about not doing yoga, I'm not flexible. Well, I'll tell you what, I was one of the least flexible people. It gets you to that flexible spot because you start to move your body in those directions again. I'm
impressed that $40 I can get 6 hours worth of different exercises. That's 3 hours in each of the DVDs. And I know, Mark, you're going to sort of show us and walk us through, because I've got to say, you are probably the most flexible man I have ever seen. So getting into some really, strong positions, coming from a bodybuilder sort of weightlifting background where they're very, stiff. And
I used to walk around like that.
You can move your arm about this high, and that's about it. Now you're like full
range of motion, back bending motions. When I first started yoga, this was about as far as I can go.
Right.
Now to be able to move in that direction and still be able to talk to you and have a good conversation, still be able to breathe without moving.
Amazing.
Just to be able to put my forehead down on my. I used to have to tie my shoelace very, very loosely so I can slip my shoes on very fast.
Couldn't even bend over.
Couldn't even bend over.
What are we're looking at the power yoga DVD first, and we're kind of going through the positioning. And I know Louise a little bit more advanced too, but maybe you can kind of walk us through and show us some of the different exercises and what benefit they have to our bodies.
Yeah, so there's stabilizing, there's flexibility work. It works, and it shows you how to connect the strength in your body. So she's doing the baby crow right now.
Oh my!
And she's balancing on her hands now. So somebody will look at that and say, I can't do that. And often enough, people will judge, will look at something and decide they can't do it before they've even tried it.
Right.
But there's baby steps. Before you get to that point, you start off just kind of putting a little more body weight onto your hands, getting a little more familiar with it.
Right.
Eventually, you go right up into it. Maybe take one foot up at a time, eventually both. And then you go even further. You take one leg back, and eventually you get to both legs back, and you're sitting here breathing. And if you fall, you learn from the mistakes that you make in the pose. And every time you do it, you get better at it. And so the thing is, you don't want to get discouraged by that.
That's the idea. You started out small, and that's the idea. You learn as you go. Your body won't take you to that position until it's ready to go there, but it can go there. The power of the body is a really amazing thing, is it not?
It's amazing what you can do. Like, you have a whole gym right here without any equipment, right here.
I didn't have to drive there. I don't have to scan my membership card. Nothing.
No, it saves you time, saves you money. And you know, people will, you know, there's 6 hours of footage, but you have so much that you can do. Like, it'll challenge you for like, I've been doing some of the same poses for years and still getting challenged out of it.
Well, how about we start out? And I know we've got Beatrice and Lise. What are some of the starter positions? And then let's show some of the advanced.
Let's go into the spread leg child's pose to start off. This is a really one, like I start all of my practice. So why don't you come in?
Yeah, I will.
So start off in table position. Take your knees out wide, right? Toes close, right? You're sitting down. Now, if somebody had like less flexibility in their knees, we'd put like a cushion underneath their seat. And then just start to draw forward with your heart, right down onto your elbows.
Okay.
Right, and you can stay there for a little while and kind of just let your body sink into the pose.
All right.
Or if you wanted to, you can extend your hands all the way out in front of you.
Okay.
And then bring your forehead right down to the mat.
All right.
And you just relax into this pose, and you'll be surprised what you start to feel in your body and what it is you're holding on to.
I'm not holding on to anything. I'm looking right at the ground, and I can feel a lot of stretching in my thighs and in my rear end. All that stretching and in my back too.
So that's a starter position.
That's a starter position.
So nice and relaxing too. Look at the form on that, and the whole positioning is just amazing. So then what else do we do? There's some key positions.
There's downward dog is a very key position that often you'll hear about. So you go right out, hands out in front, separate the fingers. So hands about shoulder length apart.
Okay.
Now lift your hips right up.
Okay.
Bring the knees in, curl the toes, lift exactly, and draw your hips as far back as you can. And now you're stretching the entire back line of your body here, which is a place that we store a lot of tension these days.
Right.
And you can see it in how people sit and how people stand and how they're walking around with and holding their shoulders up.
Amazing. Well, it's the power yoga, Mark. So I wanted you to show us some of the more power positions that we can get into. So it is challenging as well.
It is very challenging. In fact, we have some videos.
We do. Actually, yeah, let's do that too. Let's have a listen to some video of some very powerful people talk about power yoga. Have a listen.
What I think is great about these DVDs is that besides the excellent quality of instruction, you've also got, for everything, you've got options. You've got people showing the moves at different levels. Because I think one of the intimidating things about yoga for people, especially people starting out, is that, oh my gosh, I'm not flexible. I can't bend over backwards. I can't turn myself into a pretzel. And suddenly, with these DVDs, you see that you can progress. You can have a really effective and really enjoyable practice at any level. It's about you and your body, not about what anybody else is doing.
Well, we did listen to someone who's also using it, but we have people like kickboxing champions.
We have conditioning coaches. I've got like basketball coaches. I deal with all sorts of pro and semi-pro athletes.
Right.
People are really starting to recognize, you know, the benefits of this practice. You know, they have this old stigma that it's, you know, you'd cross-legged. See this back-bending position.
Right.
I could never do this when I first got into yoga.
Pretty
and
amazing.
Now I can get into it without even thinking about it.
It's amazing, Louise. You're an all-star, really and truly. I know.
And you only stop. You know, the only reason why people can't get into these positions is because they've stopped at one point moving like that. But the more you slowly kind of impress that upon your body again, you start to go into those directions again. I'll tell you now how I feel to be able to even, you know, stretch back and move around freely.
You not able, your fluids, your body is moving and operating more of its maximum than like when you're a kid, right? When you're a child running around.
You're able to move around. You know, people get older because they stop moving.
Right.
You know, when you stop moving, your body is very efficient, and it says, okay, well, I don't have to be that long. I'm going to get short. I'm going to get tighter.
Right, right. That's the idea.
And what happens is we start to feel sick because of that. You know, we hold on to all this stuff, and we don't realize how it affects our day-to-day activity.
Now, we focused a lot on the power yoga. We also have the Yin yoga that's available too. We focused a lot on the power. Now, the Yin yoga is more of a massage for your body, where you're stretching, you're really elongating your muscles and getting them nice, long, and lean, right, Mark?
Decompressing all the joints. You know, a lot of people with joint issues get a lot of great results out of it. You actually will start to stand taller. I actually grew 1.5 inches from when I first started yoga till now.
No way.
Yeah, my own brother was like,
I'm taking it. I'm taking it, Mark, if it'll help me grow another inch or lower. But you know what? It's well and beyond growing tall. It's being strong. It's feeling strong and feeling good about yourself all over. 294-789-3989. $39.99. The Power Yoga and Yin Yoga for $39.99. My guest is the instructor and star of the DVDs, Mark Laham. Great having you here.
Thank you very much.
And yeah, thank you so much. What a great way to exercise. Stay with us where you've got a lot more to share for you in our Let's Get Fit Hour for the new year.